Halo, selamat datang di channel Library Ryan. Di sini kalian bisa menikmati berbagai cerita-cerita bahasa Inggris. Jangan lupa untuk pencet tombol subscribe dan like dan share, ya. Agar kalian selalu mendapatkan cerita terbaru. Terima kasih. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading you Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty. To dawn, good news. Many years ago, a king and queen lived in a magical castle that had everything they could want except a baby. Year after year, the queen stitched and sewed tiny clothes, and the king made toys in his palace workshop, but there's still no baby. And one day, while the queen sat knitting by the lake, a bright green frog hopped, skipped, and jumped right onto her lap. "Don't be sad, your majesty," said the frog. "You are going to have a baby this year." "What? Ribbit!" And with that he bowed back and leaped back into the lake. True to the frog's words, the queen gave birth to a lovely baby girl. "I shall call her Rose," she declared happily. The king was so pleased he planned a feast to celebrate. "I shall invite every prince and princess in the land," he decided, and asked 7 fairies to be Rose's fairy godmothers. The king sent the invitations by bluebird post, and everyone agreed to come. 7 servants scrubbed and cleaned the castle. There had never been a party like it. 7 wishes. On the day of the feast, crowds came to cheer and watch the guests arrive. The men wore cloaks of finest velvet, and the women shimmered in silks. 7 fairies flew through a castle window, leaving a glistening trail behind them. "The godmothers!" cried the king, holding out his hands to greet them. "Let the feast begin!" announced the queen, and merry music filled the room. The tables were piled high with scrumptious food, and everyone ate off golden plates. When no one could manage another bite, the fairies gathered before the king and queen. "We have some wishes for Princess Rose," said Snowdrop, the first fairy. With a curtsy, she fluttered her fairy fingers. "Rose will be the most beautiful girl in the kingdom." Then Honeysuckle waved her hand, and she'll be clever enough to beat the king at chess. The third fairy, Willow, floated over. "She'll have a grace in all she does, and she'll dance to perfection," added Bluebell. Blossom and Buttercup wished that Rose could play an instrument like an angel and sing like a nightingale. Everyone wondered what Jasmine, the 7th and wisest fairy, would wish for. The uninvited guest. As Jasmine hovered towards the cradle, a blast of icy air swept through the great hall. Then a chilling voice rang out of nowhere. "Haven't you forgotten someone?" Suddenly, the mean fairy Nightshade appeared in a whirlwind of fog, green smoke. How dare you not invite me, she roared. We didn't mean to, Nightshade, the king stammered. We just forgot you, finished the queen meekly. Forgot me? Nightshade screamed so fiercely the flames in the fireplace went out. Well, you won't forget this. She fixed her cloak and marched up to the cradle. Now, my pretty, she purred, lifting a golden curl with a bony finger. What shall I wish for you? Everyone in the palace held their breath. Silent tears ran down from the queen's face. Nightshade leaned into the cradle and snarled, On your 16th birthday, you'll prick your finger on the spinning wheel and die! No! Cried the queen, but Nightshade tackled carefully and disappeared with a deafening bang. I still have my wish, said Jasmine softly. I can't undo that wicked spell, but I can try to change it. You prick your finger, little Rose, Jasmine began, but you won't die. You and everyone else in the castle will fall into a deep sleep. Only a kiss from your true love will break the spell. Burn every spinning wheel in the yarn at once, bellowed the king. Rose must never, ever see one. That night, the flames from a massive bonfire could be seen for miles. They lit the dark sky like serpents' tongues. A special birthday. The years passed, and Rose grew into a delightful girl. Everyone she met adored her. She danced, sang, and played music as wonderfully as the fairies had wished. Ha! Checkmate! She was clever and played to win. Rose loved playing hide and seek in the castle gardens, and secretly she liked to sketch the prince of her dreams. Time went happy by, and Rose's 16th birthday drew near. The castle began to buzz with excitement. The king and queen were planning a huge ball. Rose was so excited she could hardly keep still. The night of the ball finally arrived. Handsome princes and pretty princesses flooded into the great hall. The king and queen smiled proudly as they watched Rose from their thrones. She swirled and twirled in every dazzling ball gown, and every prince fell in love with her. When the feasting was nearly over, Rose pleaded for a game. Hide and seek, she shouted, and dashed into the castle. She raced up the twisting stairs, down a long narrow corridor, through a tiny door, and she found herself at the staircase of a tower she had never seen before. Soft singing floated down the church stairs. In a trance, Rose followed the music. At the top of the stairs, she found a heavy iron door. Inside, an old woman hunched over a spinning wheel. Come and see, my pretty, she said, beckoning Rose with a bony finger. I'm spinning, my dear, croaked the old woman. It's amazing, said Rose, touching the silky thread. May I try? Of course, said the old woman, taking her hand. At once, Rose snapped out of the trance. Ow! She cried as she pricked her finger. Rose fell to the floor. The old woman cackled and disappeared in a whirlwind whirlwind of fall leaves. In the same distance, everyone in the castle was asleep. The king nodded off his pudding, and the court just rose mid-yeep. Our clock stopped. The place was silent and still, except for the rose bushes. They spread like ivy, covering everything in their path. They grew so quickly that soon the entire castle was covered in thick roots and sharp weeds. For 100 years, the castle stayed hidden. Only the tops of the tower showed through the bushes. Passers-by stopped to stare at the forgotten castle. Princesses from far and wide heard about the spell. They came in their hundreds to try to rescue the princess, known as Sleeping Beauty. But the thorns cut their skin, and the roots wrapped around their legs like snakes. One by one, they gave up. One day, a brave prince named Fiorin rode by. He had dreamed of Sleeping Beauty and was determined to find her. He pulled out his sword with a flourish and began to tackle the spiky bushes. As Fiorin's sword touched a magical branch, something magical happened. Each sharp thorn became a sweet, smelly rose. A path cleared before him. He followed its twists and turns until he reached the topmost turret and climbed to where Sleeping Beauty lay. Fiorin's heart fluttered like a bird when he saw her. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Taking her hand, he kissed her soft lips. His eyes flickered open, and Rose found herself face to face with the prince of her dreams. "You're the prince I drew," she cried. He bowed. "Prince Fiorin here to rescue you," he announced, and scooped her up. As they walked through the tunnel of roses, everyone else in the castle woke up too. The king fell in a pudding with a splosh. The cork just landed with an unexpected bump. "Ow!" Rose and Fiorin entered the grand hall. "My Rose!" cried the queen, and her true love, smiled the king. Rose and Fiorin were married the very next day. They lived happily ever after, and the prince was always just at chess. The end. Bye. Thanks for watching. I want you to subscribe on my like and subscribe so you can see more books